Hi, I'm Jorge Antonio Vallejos, and you're watching BlackCoffeePoet.com and the Black Coffee Poet YouTube channel. I am the Black Coffee Poet. Welcome. This is my first ever video book review. I've done vlogs, of course I have a YouTube channel that has a ton of writers on it and radio interviews, etc. But I've never reviewed a book via video. So why not start off with an amazing new collection called The Best Sex Writing 2013, The State of Today's Sexual Culture. It's edited by Rachel Kramer Bussel and Carol Queen. Uh, Rachel is a writer. She runs a reading series. She's an editor. She does amazing collections of erotica. And you can check out one that we reviewed on blackcoffeepoet.com called She's on Top. And we interviewed Rachel Kramer Bussel as well. And then we did a really cool video starring Coco La Creme, a burlesque dancer in my city of Toronto. Anyway, so you can go to blackcoffeepoet.com, go to the search bar and put She's on Top and Rachel Kramer Bussel, and you'll get all that kind of stuff. Anyways, and Carol Queen, who wrote the foreword for this collection and is has an essay in the book, is a cultural sexologist. She's got her PhD. She's a writer. She's awesome. Anyways, so I got this book a while ago. Rachel sent it to me. Thank you, Rachel. And it's amazing. It's not fiction. It's not poetry. It's essays, whether they be academic, what kind of academic, or articles, and memoir essays, which are my favorite. I love memoir. Anyways, so I'm going to talk about a little bit. I'll mention the big time writers to get them out of the way, because I'm not going to really go into them. But this collection has some well known people like Jonathan Lethem, who's a writer in New York, who's one of the few writers in America who doesn't have to work or anything like that. He makes good dough. Patrick Califia, who is a very well known sex writer. I've had pretty cool dates actually. Me and my date reading Patrick Califia's erotica to each other, etc., etc. Madison Young, who's in the film industry. She's got an essay in here. She's a big time person. She lives in San Francisco. And Julia Serrano has about 3 books to her name now, I think, and she's pretty big time. So you've got some pretty big people in here, and most of the essays in the collection are published. Some on smaller websites, and some on big ones, or big publications. Some of the essays in this collection appeared first in Playboy, Salon.com, The Atlantic, The Rumpus, and then other places. All those places, by the way, I'd love to be published in. So all you editors out there, I am a writer. Anyways, so let's get to talking about. Well, first I'll mention what Carol Queen says in a little bit of her introduction to the book, which I really liked and really pulls together what it came out to me in the book. It is so little understood that everyone has a sexuality. No, is it so little understood that everyone has a sexuality? That it can be as diverse with varying desires among heteros as among queers. That sexual orientation is not, in fact, the definition of sexuality. That knowing someone's sexual orientation does not give you a true idea of that person's sexuality, their sexual preferences, only really revealing the gender/s of the person/s with whom they'd like to engage in that sex. Gay, straight, and everybody else. Any one of us can be vanilla or kinky, monogamous or polyamorous or open, fetishistic, into the person and not the gender, into no one but gender variance, even asexual, and into no one at all. I thought that was very well said. Anyways, so I'm going to move on to my very favorite essay, and who I'm going to be highlighting are the lesser known writers, at least lesser known to me, and definitely lesser known to the names I just mentioned about 2 minutes ago. My favorite essay is a memoir essay called Rest Stop Confidential by Connor Habib. And as you know, many men, queer, non-queer, have sex in rest stops. And I'm going to read a little bit from what he says here. After a while, I began to develop a strange feeling at rest areas, like I was giving myself to someone. Not that I gave my full self, but that the part of myself I did give was complete. There was no pretense, no awkward conversation or dancing around whether or not I should be attracted to somebody. There was no wondering if someone was straight or gay. There was no sexual orientation at all. We were just there, together as ourselves. Um, it's about 5 pages, this essay, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of those essays that I'm going to read and reread and reread. Not just because I enjoyed it and it took me on a journey, but because I can learn from the writing. Like, that's what I do as a writer and as a reader. I reread things, and of course, as a writer, writing is about rewriting. So I rewrite. So thank you, Connor Habib. Or Habib, sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. The second essay I really enjoyed, another memoir essay, When on Fire Island, A Polyamorous Disaster by Nicholas Garnett. This is about a couple, and they wanted to venture into, well, polyamory, but also like sex parties and stuff like that. And I'm not going to say what happens, but I am going to say what a friend said to him, and also what Nicholas talks about him and his wife and stuff. Rachel and I were curious. Everything else about this lifestyle seemed to be working for us. Could promiscuity? Not according to our best friend Christian. I'm telling you, he said, you're asking for trouble. It's different when it's boys, Christian said. Most of us have a knack for separating our heads from our penises. My advice? Treat it like live porn or a yoga class with a happy ending. Keep your emotions out of it. Set some ground rules and talk about them before you go there. That was a really good essay that I enjoyed. So the next one is Dear John. And I'm a big letter writer. I love letters. I publish letters on my website, blackcoffeepoet.com. They don't have to be letters to me. They can be open letters to different peoples. I had a pen pal with someone in prison for a while. And I also have written letters recently to someone who had terminal cancer. So I'm a big letter writer and I'm a big letter reader. So this one's called Dear John by Lori Selk. And Lori Selk has been in this essay, this letter, sorry, she was writing the community that she was part of, BDSM community, kink community, and I'll just read a little bit about it in here. I started noticing some other things, like the fact that whenever I saw men and women playing together, it seemed that women were on their knees sucking cock a very disproportionate amount of time. I mean, as in 5 or 6 couples surrounding me and my partner, all doing the exact same thing. And when it wasn't cocksucking, it was young thin women being wound in yards and yards of rope by older bearded men. Moving further down. See, my kinky leather identity grew firmly out of my queerness and feminism. All three of these elements are important and in some ways inseparable. It's important to me to pursue the sort of social justice that ensures that all our consensual relationships are someday entered into from a place of roughly equal societal power. Without that aim, we're simply perpetuating oppression. Let me be clear, I am not saying that we need to wait until after the revolution to have the kind of sex and or play that we want. I'm saying that we cannot turn a blind eye to the institutionalized power imbalances that affect our interpersonal relations when we're negotiating our consensual power exchanges. To do so is venal and corrosive. To do so with a shrug and a nod to the tired catchphrase, your kink is K, is offensive. There, I said it. I really enjoyed that one as well. So then, my last favorite one is Ghosts. All Men Are Dead. And I'll read a little bit of it and then I'll get into something at the end. But it's by Carol Queen. And Carol Queen did write the intro to the book, and Carol Queen is well known, so I am featuring one of the well known writers. But this was just an amazing, amazing, amazing essay. Anyways, and she's writing to all her dead male lovers. But again, going to what she said prior about like sexuality is so different and different for everyone. I learned so much from just reading this collection. So Carol Queen is an open lesbian. And this is what she says. I was a dyke who wanted to fuck fags, yes, but also a woman whose cultural context was so shot through with the bias of the binary that it scarcely let the possibility exist of real love between people whose bodies were different. Only when I could find that queer on queer love did it feel safe, feel like home, and open to me, to desire, unsullied by the war between the sexes that taint heterosexuality so often. Also, like again, it's called Ghosts. All my men are dead, and I know a poet who I featured before, and open queer guy, and he has a story that in the '80s he was a flight attendant, and he's got a picture with 9 or 10 other flight attendants, all gay men, and he's the only one alive. They're all dead. That was a very powerful story when he told me that. I was like, damn. So this essay really hit me. It was really really awesome, and it also hit me because yeah, I'm straight, I'm heterosexual, and just to read all the different things that people are involved in. And again, this is a lesbian who says that she loves cock. Pretty interesting, you know what I mean? Connor Habib writes about rest stops, talks about like straight men being there too. So it just challenges all these, as Carol Queen says, binaries. Anyways, so honorable mentions in this collection, essays that I liked also, but that I'm not gonna be going into. Very Legal, Sex and Love in Retirement by Alex Morris. It's about an old age home and the sex that happens there. It's an article. Really cool. Like super, 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 super awesome. So then the next one is Holy Fuck, the Fourth and Long Virgin by John Presick. John Presick is a Toronto writer. He has a radio show and he runs workshops on writing erotica. And he wrote about Tim Tebow, who was that very well known football player. He was always in the media in 2011, 2012, and 13, mainly 2012, I believe, and 13. Everybody talked about he's a virgin, and so he explored that from a way different angle. It was super cool. So the next one that I really enjoyed was Sex by Another Name by Insia Ansari, who's a Muslim woman and talks about her life and sex. And it was a really good essay, really good essay. And then the last one is called Happy Hookers by Melissa Gira Grant. And I actually read this essay prior I forgot where I read it. But it's, she's a former sex worker. She writes about sex work. She might be a current sex worker. I'm not sure. Anyways, and I've read her stuff prior, and it was really, really good. So on to the things that I think this series can improve upon. Because again, this is issue number 2013. There will be 2014. I hope there's a 2050. You know what I mean? Because I've read 2008, now I've read 2013, and I like them. So there's a lot of potential here. More diversity needed. I didn't see any Two Spirit folk in the two collections that I've got. I don't know by names, but just by reading the essays themselves and people describing themselves, I didn't see any black folk in this collection. As well, I didn't see any Latino folk. 30% of the USA is Latino from very many different countries. They're not all Mexican. Hello, we're not all Mexican. Anyways, so it needs more diversity. Two Spirit folk, black folk, Latino folk. I don't think there's any East Asians in here as well, or maybe West Asians, meaning Arabs, or Persians. Anyways, but so yeah. Needs more diversity. The other thing is, I think they could improve upon is, so there's a collection that I read every year called the Best American Essays, and so the editor, he reads there's like over 800 literature journals in America, and they are all sent to him, and he reads them all, and then he chooses 100 essays, and then he chooses a guest editor, and that guest editor chooses 20 of the 100 that this guy recommends, but also can include some of their own essays that they think should be in the anthology. But then at the end, there is a section called Notable Essays. So remember, there's 100 given to the editor. They choose 20. So then the ones that didn't make it in, those 80, are mentioned in the back of the book. And then there's notable collections as well. So I think the Best Sex Writing series can do that. They can at the back post the notable essays that didn't make it into the anthology, that they still recommend but didn't make it in, because you can't have a book like that massive, right? Like And then they could have a section with notable collections. Anyways, so I really enjoyed Best Sex Writing 2013. Amazing. It's the holiday season now. 2013 is not over. We have passed Hanukkah, but we have not reached Christmas, and I'm not sure when the other holidays are. But buy this book for somebody. Buy it for yourself. Anyways, and spread this video book review. And let me know, did you like this video book review? I've never done a video book review before. Did you like it? Can I improve upon anything? Did you disagree with something? Comment under the video or send me a letter at blackcoffeepoet.com. And yeah, please subscribe to blackcoffeepoet.com and the Black Coffee Poet YouTube channel. Thank you very much for sharing your time with me, for listening, for watching. And please start reading and start writing. Peace out. Take care.